So I'm out in the Welsh mountains to see which is better, Apple or Garmin. Now the Garmin watch, this model's 4.5 years old, the Fenix 6 Pro. The Apple Watch is the latest Apple Watch Ultra 2, which was released yesterday. So we'll see how they get on. Now, my early concerns would be battery life for the Apple, as I've had Apple Watches before and you get a day out of them, assuming you're not using the GPS functions. My Garmin, which I've had for about 3 years, will go days, even using GPS. Without using GPS, it'll run 2 weeks. So, as for navigation, we'll see which is best. So these are the out-of-the-box native apps. So you've got your map on your Garmin, time of day. This will also speak to my Garmin 66i InReach communicator. Gives you a rough direction of which way you should be travelling. Elevation ahead of you. And then you've got your trip stats there. So 2.2 miles remaining. It reckons it'll take me 1 hour and 16 minutes or 12:35 in the afternoon to get there. Now these screens can be customised and changed with whatever matrix you want. Now the Apple, you've got your go-to map screen, you've got your directions ahead, you've got your elevation to climb ahead of you, and at the top a pretty picture of a icon with your ETA on there. So both very useful. Again, the screen on the Apple is far clearer and far better to use than the Garmin, in my opinion. Just gone onto my phone and noticed the Apple Maps is running. I thought, well, that's not necessary, surely. So I've closed it and it's now cancelled my route. So it looks like Apple Maps has to be running on your phone at the same time, which I don't really get, to be honest, but let's see if it finds it. Oh, it's struggling. What's my phone saying? So let's open up on the phone. Walking. I've even got service now. What's going on? Let's ditch the phone again. Double click. Navigation. Here we go. Start. Interesting. So your phone has to be on and running maps in the background for it to navigate. If you can see on the Garmin watch where the red track is off the pink line, that basically means I'm walking on a track parallel to the track I should be on, even though the little triangle is on track. When it starts to do that, that's a warning sign to say you're off track. So by rights there should be another track over that way somewhere, which I should be on. Now the Apple Watch, for some reason, has lost its accuracy or responsiveness to the compass. Either way, I'm 0.2 miles away, so I'm going to intentionally walk off the route, and as you can see, the dot is already showing off the track. The track is only about 7 meters to my left, So that's pretty good. Nice little feature. The watch is just pulsed on my wrist to tell me to turn left. So the watch so far has got me to Penny Guider 4, which is the first waypoint. Both watches got me here, no problem at all. The wind's that noisy up here. The loud environment alarm bell's gone off on my watch. So I've gone right off the beaten track now. As you can see, the watch is telling me I need to head back towards the route, which is over that direction there, which is about right. The Garmin watch, a little bit differently, it's telling me I'm on the track, if you can see that, but the red line is showing that it's off the track. So basically what that tells you is you're heading roughly in the right direction, but you're no longer walking on the track. Now, why they pin the blue diamond to the track when you're off track, I don't know. Just one of the bugbears that I've gotten used to with Garmin over the years. A bit of a treat today. Along the Black Mountains, the footpaths have eroded away over the years, and new stone has to be put into place. Well, this is how they get the stone up here. Sorry about the wind noise, but my microphone's buried in my rucksack. Something I need to get off my chest with the Apple Watch Ultra 2. Just got to the first waypoint, pull my phone out to take a photograph. Now, as I mentioned before, the Apple Maps app has to be running on your phone the whole time. And as I pulled it out and touched the screen, before it's even unlocked, it's got the picture of the map showing which way I'm going. So, what exactly is the Apple Watch Ultra bringing to Barton? Okay, it's measuring my steps, my heart rate, my SpO2 blood oxygen levels, but other than that, what is it doing? All it's doing is replicating what's on my phone screen. Now, I've only been walking for an hour and a half, and my battery, which was fully charged, is already down to 85%. Now, after 2 days hiking, my watch and my phone will be dead. Now, if that's your only means of communication, you could be screwed. Again, with the Garmin, it's completely standalone. The watch, the 66i, needs nothing else. If you switch it on, put your route in, and off you go. You can leave your phone switched off, so when you're in tent of a night time, you can sit there watching the series you like, watching whatever you want. You can, because your phone will still be fully charged, and you've still got means of communicating because your phone's not dead yet. I don't know. I must be missing something here. There's no way that could be the right way. So I spent the first hour of today's hike trying to get the watch to navigate me without my phone having to do all the heavy lifting. Now, I couldn't do it. If I shut down the Maps app on my phone, the watch would stop routing. If I put it into flight mode and try to disconnect it, it wouldn't disconnect, and I still couldn't route on it. So I came to the assumption that basically you have to have the phone on and connected to your watch to do all the work, and basically your phone and the watch basically works as a secondary display for the phone. So no great surprise, the battery on my phone died, and I was expecting to be left
basically in the shit with no way of navigating or routing, and having to rely on the good old faithful Garmin Fenix 6 Pro. However, the phone died, the route on my watch did stop, but because this watch is a 4G or LTE model, it has its own data connection. When you go into the maps, when it's not connected to your phone, you can then start a route directly on your watch without having to use your phone. Now, the downside of that is it's now draining the battery on the watch very quickly, but at least it can do it. Now, I'm used to the Garmin having all of the UK topographical maps loaded onto the device. I can use the phone to pick a point, decide where I want to go to, hit go, and it will send the destination to the watch, but the watch will do all the dynamic routing itself. It won't use the phone to actually do that. Once the watch is started on its route, you can close the app down, the Garmin Explorer app, and you can even switch your phone off, throw it in your backpack, and carry on with your hike. Now, the battery on the Garmin Fenix in hiking time will last about 50 to 60 hours. That's when it's running full GPS, dynamic routing, doing everything itself. Now, in standby mode, the Garmin will run for 14 days. So if you're hiking 8 to 10 hours a day, you've probably got best part of a week's worth of hiking on one charge. Now this, when the phone died, this was still showing 76%. Now, since the phone switched off and I did about half an hour of routing on the watch, it's immediately dropped to 60%. So it's obviously very battery intensive on it, but it will do it. It'll get you home or get you back to your destination in a pinch, but not ideal. Now, I would like to stick to one ecosystem if possible. For my day-to-day, I use Apple for everything. I've got an iPhone, I use an iPad Pro, I have a MacBook Pro, and I use an M2 Mac Mini for my work at home. Now, the Garmin ecosystem has some really good features. Just the fact that how rugged this watch has been for me over the last few years, the fact it runs for 2 weeks between charge in smartphone use, or smartwatch use, sorry. The fact I can go hiking for 4 or 5 days and not even consider bringing a charging lead for it is a big plus for me. But for day-to-day use, an Apple Watch is a far better bit of kit in my opinion. Now, I've used my Garmin watch and my Garmin 66i to get me up to Scafell Pike, Ben Nevis, Snowdon. Now, those tracks are pretty well established. Well, Scafell Pike and Ben Nevis, the routes I took were very well established, and you'd struggle to get lost. The only time I did Snowdon was on the day before Christmas Eve a few years ago, and the weather was shocking. Not knowing anything about the routes to take, I decided to go up the Watkins path, which is one of the tougher routes. I did get a little bit lost because the tracks and the routes are not as clear in some areas. Scrambling up shale, walking over sections with no clear defined path. But the Garmin watch got me through it, got me there safely, and got me back to the car safely, more importantly. What worries me about the Apple ecosystem is battery life, and the fact that it does want to rely on having an internet connection to work. Now, there's probably third-party apps out there that I can download, View Ranger, OS Maps. Now, but most of these things are a chargeable service, whether it's a monthly or one-off fee. And I'm kind of of the opinion that I shouldn't have to. You spend £800 on a watch, the Ultra 2, sorry. I expect it to be able to get me somewhere and back again without having to worry about bringing battery banks, downloading third-party software, paying a monthly fee for them. So I'm a little bit conflicted, and I really wanted to love it. I'm just not sure yet. So I think tomorrow what I'm going to try and do is, once I've had a night out here in the Black Mountains, I'm going to leave my phone switched off and simulate being with just me on my watch only and see how it gets on. I've got to work out where the car was parked. I've got it logged on my GPS on my Garmin, so with any luck I should be able to find it on my watch, set it as a destination and see how it routes me there.
Okay, so I've just had a completely fucking disastrous evening in the tent. So let's see if this can get me back to my car. That's not right. It's at least 2 hours. Don't make any sense. Right, let's try and find the track. Now what? Which way do I go? Now it's saying 28 miles, 28 minutes, 28 minutes, ETA 0031, but that would be an hour away, wouldn't it, if it's only 23:29. Yeah, I'm not impressed. Yeah, not good at all. I know roughly where to start to get back. Wow. Oh, now it's saying it's an hour and 2 minutes. ETA 0032. It just doesn't know what it's doing. Well, I'm going to head that way, see where it takes me. Good luck to me, eh? This weather is absolutely crazy. Even my phone, using the Apple Maps, is telling me to go a longer way than I came here. So we're going to fuck that off. Right, car park is about there. Go. Let's see what the watch says. Walk. Calculating a route. Just getting GPS. Right, GPS got. Now that is saying the route shit, it's 5.5 miles in this weather. Oh well. All good fun. I've got to say, if I didn't have this with me, I would probably be panicking right now. This has been an absolute saviour tonight. Apple Watch Ultra 2, not impressed, I'm afraid. Not impressed at all. Right, so now we've found a track. Let's see if it can redeem itself. Now, as you can see, the Garmin watch has got a track that takes me pretty much straight there. The Apple Watch wants me to go all the way around here. Let's see how long that journey is. That's telling me it's 23 miles. That can't be right. It's certainly not 23 minutes. Right, have I selected walking or I selected driving? So find that. Yep, walking selected. Hour and 40 now. Make up your mind. Okay, let's go. Will it find the track now? Nope. It's telling me there's no route here, where my Garmin is saying, crack on son, go this way. So I'm heading due south, ignoring this. I'm going to save the battery on my phone by turning that off and back to the home screen. What a huge disappointment that is. Really disappointed. So I shut the maps down on my phone, and then I shut it down on my watch to save the battery on my phone. But because the phone app was still, the watch app was still running, it then started my maps on the phone again killing my battery. Just an absolute shower of shit. Right, so hopefully that won't come back on now. Oh well, Garmin's still rocking. Now, I'm sure a lot of people will be saying you should never go out hiking without a paper map and a compass, and that's great. If you're good at reading maps, fantastic. If you're not, you should learn to do it. However, how on earth would I be able to see any landmarks in this weather? So easy to miss a fork or a V in the trail, and you can get turned around so easily and so quickly. So Garmin, way forward. Okay, as you can see on my Garmin, we're on a well-established route. You can see on the ground it's a well-established route, so we're going to give the Apple Watch Ultra 2 one last chance to redeem itself to get me the fuck out of here. Search. That's where the car is. Oh, apparently it's 2 minutes away. Excellent. Proceed to the route. 0 yards. Okay. Yeah, it's saying proceed to the route, but it's not showing me a route. I really don't know what the fuck's going on with this watch. Let's check the route again. See, it's not actually giving me a route, it's just giving me a waypoint to get to, but not telling me how to get there, which just isn't any use. You look at these weather conditions. Now, this is a 900 lumen torch, and that's as far as I can see. What use is that? None whatsoever.
Okay, final thoughts. Well, after 3.5 hours hiking, I eventually made it back in one piece to the car, which the Garmin watch got me back safely. Needless to say, the Apple Watch Ultra 2, not for me. Sorry, Apple.